Women of Reddit, what myth about women is 100% untrue and infuriates you when you hear it?
That women don't snore. Seriously, I've heard this loads and it always baffles me. People breathe when they sleep, sometimes it makes some noise, male or female. Let him breathe.
Really? My wife snores like a water buffalo drowning in porridge.
Somewhat related, I went to preschool and a church. My teacher told us the story of Adam and Eve. At the end she said this is the reason God made women afraid of snakes. Several girls spoke up and said they weren't afraid of snakes. I don't remember what my teacher's exact response was, but I remember she was really annoyed.
That has got to be the weirdest application to the Adam and Eve story I have ever heard.
That because you don't like another woman, it's only because you're jealous. Listen, I can hate a woman because of something she did or said and in no fucking way be jealous of her. She may be just dumb, and why would I be jealous of that?
The women never get along with each other mindset is honestly the most infuriating stereotype I hear about women. Like really? We just all hate each other and never get along? Okay, sure.
What's worse is the women who perpetuate this myth with their "I'm just not friends with women because they're always so dramatic and bitchy, and they just seem to be jealous of me cause I'm one of the guys." Nah, the other women are rarely the issue. When you smell shit everywhere you go, check the bottom of your own shoe. And I'm saying this as someone who has mainly male friends. My best friends are women though.
Maternity leave is basically vacation. If you've never experienced the exhaustion of carrying a child and the intense body changes that occur during and after delivery, you'll find out that maternity leave is necessary for recovery and is not a vacation. Try working with a second, third, or fourth degree tear while now trying to deal with a baby that needs to feed every 2 to 3 hours.
I bought Witcher 3 to play after having my baby. Yeah, I haven't had time to play it since he's been born. He's 3.
I was lied to that I'd be bored on maternity leave because the baby will sleep all the time. Wahahahahahaha. My kid was the president of the Sleep is for Losers Club. I had a small list of stuff I wanted to get done while he was sleeping. I finally got most of it done when he started school. The final thing on that list? I finished that a few months ago. Right before my son's 16th birthday.
We pee with our vagina.
I had this discussion with a woman once. She swore that it was not only true that women pee from their vagina but that a woman couldn't pee until her hymen had been broken. She had a daughter.
Not a girl, but I always found it sad to see articles where rape cases are shut down because she has an intact hymen. The hymen doesn't break the first time you have sex, but it can if you are too rough with it. Hell, horseback riding and tampons can break it. And it won't always bleed the first time, it may break, or it might not, both are perfectly normal.
Did you hear about the ex-Kentucky governor who just pardoned a convicted rapist of a 9-year-old girl because her hymen was still intact, so he didn't believe the guy really raped her? I want to put my head through a wall over crap like this.
Stuff about our periods in general. Like if we're mad, it's definitely because we're on our period. We never have a legitimate reason to be upset. Also myths like we're able to hold in our period or we only have it for a day or that we're impure. The impure one definitely infuriates me. I just think about the billions of women throughout history, and sometimes even today, being treated as if they're impure or an evil omen because of a bodily function they cannot control. Banishing them to menstrual huts when they have their periods or not allowing them to touch anything. And yes, this happens. My mother as a teenager was not allowed to touch anything when she had her period. It got to the point where she would just not tell anyone she was menstruating and do what she wanted.
That we all love shopping. I fucking hate shopping.
I hate shopping for clothes, but give me $100 and I could easily spend it in an art supplies store.
That the more sex you have, the looser your pussy gets.
It's a multitude of muscles. I always want to ask, does your arm get droopy and loose because you've been flexing it all your life? No? Then why would you think a vagina would?
That as little girls we all dreamt about our future wedding. Not all women want to get married or actually enjoying attending weddings.
I only dreamt about being a dolphin tamer. Edit. This is not a JoJo reference. I just wanted to be dolphin tamer as a kid for real.
It's good to feel your life has a purpose.
Every woman is the same. That we all like the same things. That every period is the same. Every childbirth is the same. That if one woman says periods hurt and one says it doesn't, one of us has to be lying. That if one woman's childbirth is easy, the rest must be faking it or weak.
It was frustrating for me watching my wife deal with intense morning sickness while pregnant and people who didn't get that would just dismiss her. My wife is an incredibly hard worker, but she had to quit her job because she couldn't handle being so sick. And even people in her family just didn't understand it. Even some nurses who work with a lot of pregnant women didn't understand how hard of a time she's having. So frustrating seeing people be condescending to my superwoman.
I definitely feel for your wife and you. I'm pregnant for the first time and I never thought I'll feel so awful. I'm nauseous all the time and feel so tired. It's the feeling of having the stomach flu but never ending. Whenever my co-workers or family asks me how I feel, they think I'm exaggerating, saying it's normal, but I can feel their annoyance. It's hard enough with all the symptoms, but even more with the judgment. I've had to stop cooking, working out, having a social life. I barely have energy to clean and I leave work early all the time because I'm too burned out or nauseous. Just looking forward to having my baby and saying it was all worth it.
On Reddit I frequently come across the notion that women, unlike men, automatically have this social network they can rely on for support. Boy, I wish that were the case.
This is so sadly true. I had a baby in June and every damned piece of advice I got included some bullshit about enlisting a friend to help with the baby. That friend doesn't exist. But thanks for the helpful tip.
I just think people misunderstand why women's bathroom lines are so long. It's not because we're all vain, it's because we have to sit every time unlike you and wipe, and it takes a lot longer, and some women have to get undressed to do so. Also, not even to mention how time-consuming periods can be.
As a woman, having to take a poop while on your period is an entire event that requires so much time and cleanup. There should be a stall dedicated to it.
Thanks, but I would not want to go in a stall specially dedicated to period poops.
That we mean the opposite of what we say.
This is so infuriating. It actually has had the effect in failed relationships of making me be less direct, because if I said what I meant directly, he would assume I was lying or hiding something.
That the clitoris is hard to find. Or that labia grow exponentially with lots of sex. Or that vaginas are anything but elastic. Basically every ridiculous myth about female sexuality and their genitals.
I'm sure it's the same for men, but gift giving. I've had so many guy friends ask me what to get their SO or sister or mother because I am also of the female gender. Get to know them and give them something based on what they've asked for or actually like. We're not all the same. There is no generic female gift. We're different people with different likes and tastes.
That everything we do is to attract men. From wearing revealing clothing, to wearing makeup at work, to gaming, hell, apparently even the not like other girls types who abstain from and denounce things associated with attracting men are accused of doing it to attract men. After a while it just feels like a bunch of projection, whether from women who are insecure about their ability to date, or men who interpret anything they're attracted to as being tailor-made for them. Also, while I do think that we have a sort of privilege over men in terms of being able to cry and show our emotions, I also feel our emotions aren't taken as seriously. As another commenter noted, we're basically never allowed to be upset about anything, and are always labeled crazy/hysterical/irrational/dramatic. I've seen a lot of confusion among men involving the concept of venting. Why would you tell me your problem if you don't want a solution? The reason why is because we don't need a solution. Oftentimes we already know what it is. What we need is to be listened to be comforted and told that it's understandable why we feel the way we do, when the rest of the world just tells us to calm down or to smile more.
That every woman has mother's instinct. Like the second I hear a baby scream crying, I want to throw it out from the window, or just jump out of it myself.
Same. If I hear a kid crying or screaming, my first thought is, oh God, please make it shut up. On the other hand, hearing a cat or kitten crying makes me go into full rescue mode to help it.
That it is mandatory for all women to shave or trim every single hair on our bodies. No, not mandatory.
That we'll buy anything if it's pink. Pink guns, pink staplers, pink calculators, pink camo. Ugh.
There's definitely a subset who will, or the trend would have stopped long ago.
I like pink things.
Don't let anyone shame you out of liking pink. I used to aggressively shun everything pink because I felt like it made me too girly, and then I realized that owning a color I loved and embracing my own style, even if it included lots of pink stuff, meant more to me. There is nothing wrong with loving pink. I don't like the stereotype that all women love it, and I don't think we should force pink on all women, but personally I love it.
I get upset when people say there's no women on Reddit. I've been on Reddit for 10 years on different accounts. It's such a weird joke, and it always just restates that I'm not welcome here. Another stupid myth about women is how easy we have it to get laid. It always fails to take into account safety, pleasure and a woman's appearance. Unattractive women exist, and it doesn't seem like a lot of men actually consider these women.
That we enjoy being catcalled and it makes us feel better about ourselves. Seriously, stop that shit, guys. We don't like that at all. It just scares most of us, especially people like me with PTSD and social anxiety.
I'm in favor of guys saying, "Hey bro, nice dick, can I rub it?" to strangers on the street. Might create some perspective.